Good morning. We're here at the Embassy of Romania in Melbourne, chatting with the Ambassador Radu Gabriel Safta for Trade Australia show, a special episode on Romania. And I'm stepping in for Lawrence Christophels. Good morning. How are you, Gabriel?
Quite well, and you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Welcome. It's a pleasure.
Pleasure to be here. So what role does the Consulate of Romania play in supporting trade and investment with Australia?
Let's say that Romania has here an embassy in Canberra and also two consulates. One of them here in Melbourne, the other one in Sydney. One besides the obvious diplomatic, political, and of course consular work. One of the main tasks is to try to develop trade relations and investment relations. We are trying as much as possible to be close to the Australian business community, and I hope that people from Australia from other big cities won't be bothered that we decided only to be present for the time being in Melbourne and also in Sydney. We are looking also, I have to say, on reciprocity. Looking forward to see as many as possible Australian businesses and also Australian trade missions, and let's hope, finger crossed, to see also a consular or diplomatic Australian mission back in Romania.
Lovely. In terms of cultural similarities, would you please maybe explain what ties there are, which both countries have in common?
Well, let's say that I think that the first commonality comes through language, comes through English. Even if Romanian it's a Latin-speaking country, practically the younger generation, or if you go in the big Romanian cities, it will be very easy to discuss in English, to have a chat in English. I have to mention the fact that practically the majority, or let's say the big five, the big five Romanian universities have all programs in English for different types of from studies, both humanities, business, engineering, and so on, medicine. And certainly I think and I have to emphasize that the relation comes through multiculturalism.
Yeah.
Both Australia and Romania have minorities who are thriving in both countries, and they are practically a very good representative or anchor in the other's country. Speaking about Romanians, according to the last census, we are 28,000. According to the consular work, I think it's a little bit more. And here, last but not least, end of the day, the most important thing is like-mindedness.
Yeah.
Like-mindedness of the people who enjoy living in a democracy, who enjoy, practically have a better life, and trying to expand their businesses, to expand their ideas and so on freely.
Yeah, definitely. Yourself, how long have you been posted in Australia for?
I came here in March 2021. Kind of strange. It was
kind of strange.
Yeah, it was the middle of okay. In Europe, it was the middle of the epidemic. Here, it was just starting.
Yeah.
Practically, you had the chance. When I came in Canberra, it was a little bit strange. I said, "Come on, it's no masks, nothing, and nobody is trying to avoid people like in Europe." As it happened at that moment there, but. Well, it's an experience that gets better and better. Okay, I know a little bit about the region. I'm a former Director General in my Ministry of Foreign Affairs covering the area, among Asia and so on. Actually, I had the chance to have consultations in Sydney. If I remember well, it was in 2019 at political level.
Yeah.
And then, since then, practically trying to understand the country as much as possible, trying to visit it as much as possible. Frankly, due also to the context, I succeeded only to see a little bit only the southeastern part of it. It's for the next year. I'll try a little bit to expand.
Yeah.
But also I take this opportunity to invite you to come more to Canberra, because I think that the diplomatic community in Canberra needs a little bit more to be a little bit exposed to be, because it's also important. It's important for us diplomats to understand the country.
Yeah.
But also it's important for the business communities, for Australians to understand a little bit as much as possible to the countries which we represent.
Yeah. So with that being said, Gabriel, could you please explain when the trade relationship between Australia and Romania did take place, and when was the first Romanian posting in Australia? When did that occur?
First posting. When then we have an embassy here, I think from where it is. It's 68.
68, yeah.
68. Well, if I speaking mainly about trade, if I'll have to give a general assessment to it, I'll give the assessment of the huge existing opportunities. Obviously, distance, it's a factor. It's a huge factor. And then mainly for trade in goods. Let's say also not having, speaking also of Romania and Australia, not having a trade agreement practically in place, it's also a factor. I hope that this year, or let's see, because end of the day it's for the negotiators to decide, but we hope to see as quickly possible the FTA, the free trade agreement between the EU and Australia to be signed and to enter into force, because it will be a huge opportunity. It will be a huge opportunity. Speaking about businesses in our days, I think we need more information. And once again, guys, I thank you for this interview. This is an opportunity. Just to give you an example, few people here know that, for example, Macquarie made quite a big investment in Romania in energy. Practically, they acquired a part of the Romanian electrical distribution system.
Yep.
It was a deal with a Czech company for close to $1 billion. They are really involved there, and I have to mention here that they own through this deal the biggest onshore wind farm in Europe, which is close to the Black Sea. Speaking about a Romanian investment, we have Big Defender, which is a company in cyber. By the by, you'll see probably the logos in Melbourne next Grand Prix, Formula 1 Grand Prix next year, because they'll be there with Ferrari. Then they, as I know, they bought two companies in Australia, in IT, and I think this domain could be one of the drivers in our relation. We've seen, for not so good motives, we've seen how important cyber is. Yeah. And here I think that we have a very good expertise. Just to give you an example, we have the European Cyber Agency. It's in Bucharest. We are a little bit interested. When I say European, it's European Union Cyber Agency. It's hosted by Bucharest. Bucharest also happens to host, for some reasons, the Resilience Agency of NATO. Yep. Then I think these new domains could be one of the drivers of our exchanges. Exchanges that can be done both at the level of enterprises. And here I would like to emphasize the role of the importance of small and medium enterprises. Yeah. And then it can be done also through universities. Yep. And I'm speaking here mainly as business universities as business accelerators. Yeah. And what advice would you give to Romanian companies wanting to do business with Australia, and how does it compare to other global markets from what they may be used to? Well, obviously, then it's clear that distance is a factor.
Yeah.
It's kind of clear distance is a factor. Then they have to take care of the logistics. And here, like, I think that we need some good counterparts from your side. Also, let's say I would look a little bit in your legislation because there are some specificities, and also I will tell them then it's not only logistics between Romania and Australia, but look also a little bit on logistics in Australia, because it's something if you're trying to do a business in Perth, and it will be a little bit different if you try to do it at Radu. Okay, let's say Brisbane.
And in terms of programs and initiatives planned for the new year 2023 to promote greater trade and investment engagement between Romania and Australia, what are they, if any?
I spent, before coming here, I spent the last 2 or 3 weeks, I do not remember anymore, in your parliament, in your federal parliament in Canberra. I had a very good contacts with a lot of members of senators and MPs. We are trying to push a little bit the so-called parliamentarian diplomacy.
Yeah.
Not only politically, because there are connections at the level of the parties, there are connections at the level of the parliaments, but also as business accelerators, if I can say so. If I can call a parliamentary business accelerator, it's not the best the best denomination, I think. But as people have very good knowledge on their own constituencies, and this could help. Secondly, and of course, they will be part of the end of the day, part of the negotiation of the FTA. Once again, I have to emphasize the importance of the FTA between European Union and Australia. Secondly, this will depend also on the interest coming from the Australian side. I had some discussions with my people back home. The Romanian National Chamber of Commerce and Industry has in its program from 2023 to pay a visit in Australia. Not only to Canberra, but also in several cities. And here, then I'm trying to look for Australian counterparts. Of course, in Melbourne, of course in Sydney, and let's see, of course in Canberra.
Well, we'll look forward to it. With business opportunities, Romania's energy, we've got mining, IT, agriculture, manufacturing and services sectors presenting plenty of opportunities for Australian businesses. What are they, if any, that you would like to elaborate on, please?
We spoke a little bit about IT. I would like to mention just to mention a little bit engineering.
Yep.
I think that also, just to give you an example, Nuina, your oceanographic ship and icebreaker, practically was done in Romania, in the port of Galați. It's an old shipyard practically for 200 years. The main contractor is Dutch. It's Damen. Practically Nuina, it's a very good example of how a collaboration between European and Australian know-how and in engineering, in business and all can function. Because Nuina, at the end of the day, it's a product that you ordered, then it's your engineers, it's your biologs and so on, practically follows the entire process. And I have to mention here that probably right now in Hobart, in your RT programs, there are some guys who know better the Galați where Nuina was built, and also the Romanian Black Sea coast better than I know, and also the delta of the Danube and so on. But they know probably much better than me. The Romanian engineers, they've been in contact for probably, I don't know, 4 years, 3 years. But it's important also to mention that Nuina, end of the day, it's a product of this exchange of engineering. The Nuina done in Romania with a Dutch main contractor under a project made in Denmark.
Well, thank you, Gabriel, for having us here at your office in Melbourne, and we do look forward to future opportunities.